This is Shintai, and with me is Bossman. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
We have decided, out of the blue, to do a podcast, calling it Shin and Bos. I wonder where we got that title from. And basically, we just wanted to do a podcast, see how it turns out, see what works, see if it sticks, and and just have a good time. So, what you been up to, man? How you doing?
Well, right now I'm just kind of relaxing. I've been playing World of Warcraft mostly, but on normal games that I've actually played since I've been stuck with World of Warcraft, other than that, would have to be Mass Effect. Mostly, it's Mass Effect online. I know it isn't perfect, I know it isn't great, but the reason why I love it more than, let's say, like Call of Duty and Halo, which I have played online, which they are fun, but the problem is I like Mass Effect more because one of the things is I like the fact that you can play as so many different races, like mostly Mass Effect races of all things, and they're actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't you be more connected to the Mass Effect online simply because you're more connected to the lore of the Mass Effect universe? Like, it's like, oh man, I get to play as a Krogan. That's awesome.
I know, actually, I did play one. They're the most fun, because really, what's cool is, you know how Melee, it's just, like humans, they just, like, swing their weapon?
Yeah, like, actually, I was playing the first Mass Effect for the first time, and I was like, how do I do Melee? What the fuck? Because I was so used to pressing, the circle button in Mass Effect 2 to run up and, punch someone, and in Mass Effect 1, not how it goes, so I'm confused.
Well, I played on the computer, and they change around the buttons, but in Mass Effect 3, they just put an F, and it's really, really cool. But with humans, they just, like, do the normal, just swing their weapon up and hit the enemy's face with the handle. But with Krogans, when you use Melee, they just swing their face down and just headbutt them. That's their basic Melee. So I'm just going around running up to a Cerberus soldier and just smashing my face right to his. And if you run in Melee, they'll actually do a charge and it'll smash enemies, like, they'll make them fly off and hit the wall. What's cool is, I'm not sure how it works, but if you manage to hit them enough times with Melee, they'll actually go into a deep rage and they'll do even more damage. And you actually see, like, red, and, like, the screen gets all, like, shiny and stuff, and it's just, you now, like, are much more powerful. It's really, really fun.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't have Mass Effect 3 yet, and now that I picked up the first Mass Effect, I don't want it just yet until I finish the first Mass Effect. And it's kind of weird how I got, like, the order I'm playing in. I played 2 first, playing 1 now. Probably play 3 at some point later. But, better to get into it a weird way than no way at all.
Yeah, my story is, originally, I heard about how good Mass Effect 2 was, and I was on Steam, and then I noticed that they were selling 1 and 2 in really, really cheap prices, and actually bought them, but I left them on my computer for a really, really long time. And then when Mass Effect 3 coming on, when I heard how good it was, I actually started playing Mass Effect 1, and then 2, and then I bought 3 while I was playing 2, and then I loved them all. I loved the whole series. Despite...
For me, I was always a fan of BioWare. I really liked Star Wars Knights of the Republic. I really liked Jade Empire. Despite the fact that Jade Empire, I don't consider it one of their better games, and a lot of people kind of poo-poo on it. But I still enjoyed it for what it was, and I still thought it was a good game. So because of those games, I became a fan of BioWare. So they released the first Mass Effect. I didn't have a 360, so I couldn't play it. But I always heard that people really raved about it, and they're like, it's like one of the best games on 360. It's just an amazing game. When they released the second one on the PS3, I was like, that's kind of sucky. I can't play the first one, but I'll give the second one a shot. I can at least play that. I loved it. It was great, and I'm happy I can finally play the first one. I played the second one a lot. I beat it 3 times because I liked it that much. It's interesting the way I played it though, because I kind of played the second one, and there were characters who I didn't really know about, and they already had a history with Shepard, and they would kind of talk about some of the things that they used to go through, and I wouldn't know about it, but they already did, so that was a little weird for me. And there would be references I remember in the Shadow Broker DLC, if you go into Liara's apartment, and you examine a picture, the officer is like, "What is that planet?" And then Shepard's like, "Eden Prime." And it sounded like that was an important place, and you don't go to that place in Mass Effect 2. But when I first played Mass Effect 1, the very first thing you do is go to Eden Prime, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's so cool!" And I haven't played too much of the first Mass Effect just yet. I'm like right before you get Liara on your team. But of what I've played so far, I'm enjoying it, but I also have a few issues. The combat in Mass Effect 1 is really weird compared to the second one. The second one felt like more of a shooter. Like, it actually felt like I was playing a regular third-person shooter. And in the first one, it's still a shooter, obviously, but it feels very, like, awkward. Like, it was done a lot better in the second game. But at the same time, I feel that there's a lot more customization in the first one, and in the second one, it was really dumbed down, and I didn't really like that. You only have, like, you can level up these individual skills, and that's it. Like, a few times. While in the first Mass Effect, you have all these different skills, and you level them up, and you can level them up to a certain point, and it unlocks a new skill, and it unlocks a new attribute, and now you do this and that. It's like, oh my god, so much variety.
Mass Effect 3, they did. It's not as much variety, but they do have, like, you can have special skills, you can implant special skills of any of your class, which is kind of cool, but they also made it, like, a little bit more expanding. Like, let's say I want to level up strength, or let's say you want to level up your fitness. You can be able to make it so that way you can take more hits, or you hit more, like, or you're much stronger, you know, stuff like that. And they made it a little bit more customizable, but not as much, but it's still in a pretty simple way. They also did the customization with the online, which is also a lot of fun.
Yeah, the first two don't have online at all, which I don't mind. I actually thought it was kind of weird when they announced that Mass Effect 3 is going to have it online. I was just like, really? Why? But you said it's pretty fun, though, so... And I did enjoy the little bit that I played of the demo online, so... if I get it on... I don't know. I think I'm going to get the third one still on the PS3, because that's how I started it, so... Yeah. All of my save files. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever play Mass Effect 2 anymore, because I played it so much that I've gotten tired of it. If I ever do, though, I might as well, like, play the 360 version, just to see what the differences are. Not really, but, you know, at the same time, like, I've done so much in that game, it's just like, I don't want to play anymore. I recently saw the movie Prometheus. I'm not going to spoil anything at all, because I don't want to spoil it. I want, you know, anyone who's watching this, I want you, if you're into science fiction, you should go watch Prometheus. It is an excellent movie, but there is some problems. There were times when I was watching the movie, and there were times where I was thinking to myself, like, oh, that's kind of dumb. Oh, that doesn't really make sense. But despite that, despite those little, like, nagging issues, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. The set was amazing. Like, the sets, the environment. Ridley Scott does a really good job of making you feel like what you're looking at is real, like it's actually there. Because when you see something like fucking the Star Wars prequels, everything looks so fake. Everything looks like it's just CGI, because it is. Everything looks so sleek and clean. It looks too perfect. But with Prometheus, you never, even when you're looking at something that's CGI, when it's like, you know, it technically is CGI, it never even crossed my mind that what I was looking at actually was CGI, because everything was so well done. Everything was so believable in the world. It was almost an experience to see just how well made everything was. It was honestly, that to me was incredible. And there was one part, I'm not going to explain, you know, the circumstances, but there's a part where the main character, her name is Elizabeth Shaw, her stomach is stable. I'm not going to explain why or how, because that's a huge spoiler. But she's like walking down the hallway, and she's like almost naked, all bloody. You can tell it's like she went through something like really awful, just completely in pain. And in scenes like that, I never felt such empathy for a character. Like, I was really hurting for her when I saw her in these kinds of situations. And I honestly, there hasn't been a movie that has made me, feel that way towards a character in a while. And I think that alone makes the movie worth watching. Because I actually care. That's hard to find nowadays.
But also, I've yet to see it, but I'm getting kind of interested. Because I heard some hot and cold stuff about it, but...
Yeah, honestly, I'm personally, I think you should watch it. I really recommend it. It is an amazing movie. It does have its nagging issues, but they were not enough that made me go like, this is a bad movie, or even that it really ruined the movie or anything like that. They were just kind of like issues that, here and there. But overall, I was like thoroughly impressed.
Well, about movies, the latest one I've seen was The Avengers, which is amazing. I saw that 3 times in 1 week. First time was like a few days after it originally came out. My friends got me. The day after, I was like, I must see this again with my I have siblings who haven't seen it, and I must bring them. And the third time, I was just showing up the rest of my friends. I was shocked because originally I was really, really scared of this idea to begin with, since it was originally announced sort of in Iron Man with the Avengers Initiative originally, and then as it went on, I started, can't wait to see all these other superhero movies, and I was actually scared of Iron Man 2 if it would stink, but it turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the first Iron Man. I've only seen the second one, and I liked it. I didn't think it was bad.
You missed out. The first one was really, really good. It's better, but very, very little. And it has Jeff Bridges, which is awesome.
Jeff the Dude Bridges.
Yeah. But then, as it went on, I saw Thor, and I was just scared about these movies, that each one of them coming out. Which I saw Thor, and I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I actually just recently saw Thor because they put it on Netflix, and I thought it was fine. My favorite character has to be Loki because the actor that plays him is a really great British actor, and honestly, something kind of interesting about him is there's actually this petition going on to get him to play as a character in this TV series called Doctor Who. Because the way it works in that series is after a couple of seasons, or maybe one for some, it depends, the character of the Doctor goes through a transformation, and basically he used up one of his lives, and when that happens, he changes into a different person. He's still the same Doctor, still has the same memories, and he's still the same character, but he changes, and he's played by a different actor each time. Think of it as him dying and then coming back to life, with a different body and personality, but has the same memories. It's kind of like that, and they usually have really good actors to do it. My personal favorites are Christopher Eccleston as the 9th Doctor and David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. I thought they were really good. Right now, Matt Smith is currently the Doctor, and there are people who are who really want the guy who played Loki to be the next Doctor. And honestly, I could see that work. To anyone who's seen Doctor Who, I think they might agree with me if they've seen what this actor is like. He has very similar qualities as the Doctor does. So I think it would work personally. And I know you haven't seen Doctor Who, Andrew. You should. It's a good show. Check it out.
I just gotta figure out where to start.
Just start with Christopher Eccleston, because that's the not really the reboot series, but it's the current. That was the start of the current series of Doctor Who.
I actually like the idea of regeneration with different Doctors. I at least want to see one of each Doctor of their best moments, just because I like that idea. But I think the actor of Loki would do really, really well. I think his name is Tom something.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
Well, here's the thing about trying to see the best moments of each Doctor. Like, the first, 200 episodes or so were, either, lost or burned or, in a flood or something like that. So, a lot of the episodes are actually missing, unfortunately. But there are some that were saved. And you can see pretty much every Doctor, a little bit of every Doctor on Netflix. All of it's there, except for the 8th Doctor, who was in that made-for-TV movie. That was the only thing he was in. But other than that, you can see, all the other Doctors.
That's really cool. But back to Thor. I really, the reason why I liked it was the director of it. I don't remember his name. His name always slips me. But he also did one version of Hamlet with, it had Robin Williams in it and a couple other actors. I know this is annoying, but he pretty much didn't really wrote the story, but he pretty much wrote his own way. Directed and starred in his own Hamlet version, and started his own Hamlet. And it's in the Middle Age setting, and actually it's one of my favorite versions of Hamlet of all time. Although I had two problems, which was the ghost and the ending, which was kind of goes against what the book was, but he directed Thor, and his style shows out, because the thing I like about Thor was Thor in the comics was hard to do. The whole
demigod.
I forget what it's the whole history of the Viking gods, which had
Norse mythology.
Norse mythology was with the Rainbow Bridge. There's certain some things with the costumes, Loki's costume, the horns.
Yeah, the horns.
I knew Loki. I got the whole history of Marvel from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And when I went to the Thor part of the game, when you actually go to the Asgard and all that stuff, I was just yeah, this is really, really silly. And I was just laughing so hard at what Loki looks like. And then I was they're making a movie on that. I'm oh.
Yeah, but honestly, Asgard in the movie actually looked really cool. I liked how the quote unquote Rainbow Bridge was made out of crystal or something, which I thought was cool. It's not made out of a little rainbow. It's this hard, material.
What I liked was when it showed the first image of Thor, it just showed him without it didn't have the winged helmet, but it just showed him with the suit, and I actually liked the suit design. And I was just sitting back. I want to know if they're actually gonna do Loki's suit. And later on, they actually on Comic-Con they actually released the helmets, and one of them was Loki's horns, and I actually liked it. And when I finally get to see him in that suit, I was actually amazed at how well it looked without making it look too silly.
Yeah, I mean, the horns still do look a little silly. That, even Tony Stark in the Avengers is alright, come on, reindeer game. But, yeah, I see what you're saying, though. Thor didn't wear that helmet, though, in the movie.
He only did once in Thor, but it was just very... But I don't know, later on, even in the comics, they actually just ditched the helmet. But I really, really, really love Loki, and I just really love his character, and I really like him as a villain entirely.
Yeah, me too, actually. One thing I didn't like about the Thor movie was I thought that the romance was really tacked on. And it was just kind of I am Thor! I have come from Asgard, and now you shall love me. And I shall love you for no reason. Even though we met each other 2 days ago, we are now madly in love. It's really? Really?
But the one thing I love was, what scared me is it's about someone from a different era coming into our world and interacting with our world, which has been done. Like, I have seen Hercules in New York, Arnold Schwarzenegger's first film, and that movie is terrible.
Well, I mean, just the title sounds terrible.
Yeah, like, it's just, and the thing is, Thor actually has the same story, but Thor does it really, really well. Like, Thor is not completely stupid. He knows what most of the things are, but it's just with a bunch of subtle reactions, like when he was drinking coffee, he's like, "This is good. I like it. Another!" And then throws it in the ground. It just made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, that made me laugh too. And then they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I liked it. I wanted another one."
And what was funny was, like, when he went to the pet shop, I was like, "I require a horse."
We have no horses here, only dogs, cats, and birds. Then bring me one big enough to ride.
And even in the Avengers, he was actually pretty funny. Like, when he was naming off some of his own animals, and one of the guys didn't understand him, so he's like, it's big, has teeth, you don't have those?
Yeah.
It's just, I really like Thor, and it's funny because I don't like Norse god mythology. I like Greek mythology, but the only comic that does Greek mythology is Wonder Woman, and I don't like Wonder Woman because she's kind of confusing to me. She's kind of like an American icon, but she's Greek mythology, and it's just confusing. Well, Thor, you can actually believe that he is Thor and part of it, and like him going to our world makes much more sense. I actually like it. But now since Thor did it so well, and I love the actors, and I love how they did it, I really, really like the whole Thor thing. And slowly I started liking Thor, because I didn't like him at all at first. Like, I didn't like him at all in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, since he was very, very, like, "You dare hurt the son of Odin." This one, he does it a little bit... He does it quite better.
He does it in the movie, like, especially in the beginning. He's like, "You dare try to threaten me with such a tiny a weapon?" And then tasers him. He's like,
yeah.
Balls.
But I really, really, really like on the Thor movie. And then later it was Captain America, which has its faults, but I liked it.
I have not seen the Captain America movie yet.
The Captain America movie, I know half in the bag bashed it. Except, I understand, I do have problems, but their problems don't really bother me at all. It does feel like it's a little rushed at times, and it does feel like they have rewrote it, but I accept those faults other than, like, the fans, because when the movie came out, I know a lot of fans were bashing it because, "No, the Red Skull's origin is not this way. They changed it. It's horrible." And that's the reason I don't like comic book fans, because they always ruin all the good comic book movies. Always.
See, I wrote an article about that, or rather an editorial, about adaptations and how some people just, instead of judging something on its own merits, they say that it's different, and just assume that simply because it's different, therefore it's bad or it's worse. And just because something is different from what you're normally used to doesn't automatically make it bad or worse. In fact, sometimes it might actually be better. Like, in the Watchmen movie, I'm not going to spoil anything, but apparently the ending was different in the graphic novel. I never read it, and if I never was told this, I never would have noticed, because I thought the ending was just fine. I didn't see any issues with it. I thought it was like, I thought that was a good ending. I thought it was a great movie in general. Actually, something really cool. David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake, wrote the screenplay for that movie. A little bit of, trivia to throw in there.
That's weird. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he also wrote the screenplay for the first and second. Well, I don't know about the second, but I know for sure he did the first X-Men movie screenplay.
Although, technically, I like the first X-Men. No, I like the second X-Men better, slightly.
I haven't seen the second one. I only saw the first one.
But to be truthful, I didn't like the first X-Men. I barely like the second one, slightly, because they expand. But the problem is, it's really, really long.
I only saw the first one and the third one. I liked the first one at the time when I saw it. I haven't seen it recently, so I don't know how I feel. I hated the third one. He had nothing to do with that one, luckily. But oh man, I really hated the third one so much. I was like, this movie is fucking terrible.
I never saw the third one, but when I heard that they kill off Cyclops really early, I just got angry by that fact alone. And Cyclops is actually my favorite X-Men. Actually, one of my favorite superheroes of all time.
Like, God, I just did not like it. It's just bad.
Then there was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I never watched it. I actually played the video game, and I liked the video game. I thought the video game, based on the movie, was good. And I never even seen the movie, and everyone tells me the movie sucked.
The movie's action scenes were good, but everything else was not really that great. Like, I'm just angry at what they did with Deadpool.
Oh yeah, that was at the very end of the game. I fought Deadpool, and I was like, the fuck? This isn't. Why even call him Deadpool? Just call him something else. This is not Deadpool at all. It's so completely different from Deadpool.
I mean, he was played by, like, Deadpool in the movie. There was an earlier one, which doesn't make any sense because Deadpool never had any powers. He was injected with powers, but I was willing to, like, accept it at the time. And when they showed, Ryan Reynolds with the swords, and he had, like, super ninja abilities, and he was funny, he was just fine. If they just, like, put in the excuse, they gave him regeneration powers, and now he's crazy, I would accept it. But this one, they just made him into a giant blob, and now he has eye lasers and a bunch of other superpowers, which he never had. It's just strange.
I've noticed that a lot of DC movies, except for Batman, aren't that great. And a lot of Marvel movies, not all of them, but most of the Marvel movies tend to be better.
I have seen Green Lantern. Twice.
First time?
The first time was with my sister because she was curious, but even she didn't like it. And then the next time, it was just a bunch of my friends. We all knew it was going to be terrible, so we just went to the $3 theater and just watched it and just laughed and made fun of it the entire time. That movie is pretty bad. I mean, it really disappointed me because other than Batman, I actually kind of like...
I don't really know much about like the DC universe, or Marvel for that matter. I'm not a comic book fan. But, I like Batman. Everyone likes Batman. Batman's cool. And I'm looking forward to The Dark Knight Rises, but I can't really think of anything else that's DC that I'm like, ooh, I want to see that, or, But if you tell me some of the Marvel stuff, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to see that. Like, the new Spider-Man movie, that looks pretty cool. Then they're going to make another Thor movie. I want to see that. I want to see the first Iron Man movie. I haven't seen that yet. I want to see the Captain America one. Despite the faults that I've heard for it, it still sounds like a movie that, could be a nice popcorn flick. Just, sit back, relax, enjoy the action and stuff.
It's just, I like, Captain America, it's still, like, I really liked it. I love the actors, and I just love the style of it. It's very 1940s, and I am a fan of the 40s and 80s for some reason, which I don't get, but I really enjoyed Captain America. But back to X-Men, I really did not like X-Men Origins, and when I heard about X-Men First Class, I was really not excited for it. When I saw the costumes, I thought they looked silly, but when I heard so many good things about it, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit over here. I didn't like much of the X-Men, and the ones I did kind of like, I wasn't really into, but X-Men First Class blew me, like, just shot me off, and I was just completely amazed on how great that movie was. Have you ever seen First Class?
I actually haven't. First
Class just kind of did something in its own way, did something different, except it was really, really interesting, really good, and I really like the style of... It's kind of strange because, like, the cool thing about the X-Men is they had the actor Gandalf as Magneto and Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. And I'm like, oh, you're not going to have them? How is this movie going to be any great? But this movie, they actually showed me by the characters.
Actually, very, very interesting, actually. The character the actor that plays Magneto's character in X-Men First Class is in Prometheus. Yeah, I'm not going to say who or what his character is in Prometheus, but he's very important in that movie, and he was excellent in that movie. My sister who watched Prometheus with me, she didn't like the movie. It wasn't really her cup of tea. She said it's not really her kind of movie, but she really liked his character. She was like, he was the best character, even though it's not really her kind of movie.
But X-Men First Class, I love the movie, but my problem with the movie was when I saw it with two of my friends. And what's funny is I was in the middle, sitting right between them, and their problems with the movie just made me angry because I love the movie like pure by itself. I loved it. Like, it's one of the best movies I've seen. One of the best superhero movies. Like, it's not like the top 5, but it would be like in the top 10, like around the 9 area. But the problems I had with it was just by my friends, because my friend on my right was saying, wait a second, this contradicts X-Men Origins and X-Men 3. You know, like, this is confusing, and...
The two movies nobody liked.
I know, but I told him that, and he gets all upset about it. Like, he wasn't really upset, but he's all really confused about it. He's like, but I like the movies. On the person on my left, he was like, this is nothing like in the comics. You see, in the comics, they actually did it so much better, because in the comics, they did this, and they did that, and this and that, and I was like, That was my only problem with the movie, was just my two friends' reaction. One of them was just continuity errors, and the other one was just comic book, which, made me mad. But I saw it again with my sister, and I really loved it. And one of the best things is the villain, Sebastian, is played by Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon?
And it was just Kevin Bacon playing Kevin Bacon, but he was really, really enjoyable. The only problem was, I do agree, like, Spoony did point it out, and a lot of people did, and I do agree, was the acting of the Emma Frost character. She was pretty bad. But, like, people say that, you know, this character could actually ruin the whole movie, like this actress. But I don't agree, because they don't give her that many lines. They don't give her that many... She doesn't really have that much stuff to do. Like, in the middle of the movie, she gets captured, and she's gone until pretty much the ending, and that's it. But... other than that, I'm now excited for what X-Men would bring, but I haven't heard anything what they're going to do. I heard they're going to do another X-Men, or like Wolverine origin, but right. But until then, you know, I like, if it's the same people who did First Class.
I don't know if I'll check out that other Wolverine movie, simply because I didn't even see the first one, so I don't know if I'd even be interested in watching the other one.
The only other thing of DC that's announced that isn't Batman is Superman, Man of Steel.
Didn't the last Superman movie, a lot of people complained about it?
It was weird. Like, the problem about Superman Returns was it was a remake and a sequel at the same time. It just really, really confused people.
So it was a requel.
Something like that. And they just did a lot of isolation and weird decisions. Like, this may be a little bit of a spoiler, but it's just so strange. It's just, even when you know the spoiler, it's just, you'll still scratch your head and be like, why do they do this? Was Superman has a kid. Yeah, I know, it's just, it just came out of nowhere. He has a kid. Except Lois Lane wasn't sure, I'm sure if it was Superman's or not, but...
What?
Okay.
What? How could she not know? It's like, oh, my baby can fly around, and he's chucking, you know, tables across the room. I wonder whose kid he is. Who's his daddy?
I don't know. I don't even want to mess with this. Like, you know, this movie's just so weird. What I heard was, I was just not really looking forward to it. And I don't know. Superman movies. I heard so much about how the first one was good, but I actually tried it once. It was too it was too long and boring for me because nothing really happened. But this is just me, and I think if I should watch it again, maybe I might like it, but I'm not sure.
I've never seen the originals, like the 1970s, 80s. I never watched them, so I don't really have them.
The thing about the new Superman Man of Steel, they did show what the costume looks like, and what's weird was, you know, he had the red spandex, you know, the red underwear with the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone, and now it's just blue, and it just looks strange. It looks weirder than what it originally looked like. It's just weird. Yeah,
I don't even want to picture that. That does sound weird. Ugh.
But really, it's just sad because what's funny is Superman Returns did make a small reference to Gotham. Like, it's...
Well, I mean, it is in the same universe.
I know. But it's funny because how it works is does like a newscast and they're constantly updating, and one of them says, Gotham had a flood today. And it's just hilarious because I'm just trying to imagine Christopher Nolan's Batman with the Superman universe.
That's so weird.
It's just Batman's just better when he's Batman alone. I know. That has a lot of Justice League stuff. My problem with like the Justice League in general was, they have all these super-powered characters. They all are super strong. Some of them are like demigods, some of them are aliens, some of them just get their powers from pure. They're like pure superheroes. Yet their best man is actually just a normal human.
And the guy who talks to fish. Aquatic justice.
I don't know, they over and over the comics are trying to make him look cooler.
I'm sorry, there's nothing that can make Aquaman cool. Nothing.
I don't know. I don't think that Justice League will ever be made compared to the Avengers, because the Avengers worked all around.
Yeah, it was surprising just how well the Avengers worked, because if you think about it, there were just so many things going against that movie to make it not work. But you gotta thank my boy Joss Whedon. I love that guy. He's like one of my favorite directors, and he came through.
I was so shocked. I was shocked of how funny the movie was.
That's Joss Whedon. Go watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Go watch Angel. Go watch Firefly. He loves jokes, and he knows how to make people laugh. Like, I was rewatching Buffy today because I got kind of nostalgic and I wanted to rewatch it. And it just reminded me of this really funny joke. I think it was in the 4th episode, it was either the 3rd or 4th episode. The episode starts with this guy named Xander, and he has a huge crush on Buffy, the main character, and he has a daydream that instead of her saving the day, it was him saving her from the vampires. and it was so epic that after he beat the vampire, he got on stage and he started rocking out on guitar. And he wakes up and he's just like, "Aw." But then later on in the episode, there's a substitute teacher that comes in, and she is smoking hot. She is really, really hot. And then she asks him, "Oh, I need your help with something, but the supplies are at my house. Would you like to come with me to my house and go pick them up?" And he's like, "Your house?" And then it flashes back to when he's playing the guitar, and he's like, I was like, that's brilliant. Brilliant. God, love that guy. Love Joss Whedon. He is hilarious. And here's one of the things, though, about Avengers. I saw it with my family, so it was me and my dad mostly that were laughing throughout the movie, because nobody else got the jokes, because that's part of Joss Whedon's style of humor as well. The humor is really quick, and you can miss it because it's hidden in the dialogue. And I noticed that a lot of the times me and my dad were laughing because we get him, we get his style of humor, and not everyone else in the audience did. And then sometimes we could find ourselves the only people laughing. It was a little embarrassing.
To me, one of the best jokes, and this is a smaller joke, but when Thor was over at the council and they're talking about Loki, he goes,
"Oh yeah, I know."
He goes, it's I don't care what you think of him. He is still of Asgard. He is my brother. He killed 82 people today. He's adopted.
Yeah.
It's just that joke makes me. It was so perfect.
Yes, it was.
What I loved about Avengers was one of the smaller things is people say it's a really good marketing thing, but to me, what I like about the idea of it being connected with so many other movies is because you didn't have to worry about introducing the characters so well. Like, we already know who Iron Man is, and you just need to show a simple scene of him being all smarty, and we already know that. And for the people who have watched the movies, you know, they already know how he acts, so they don't have to reintroduce the characters or reintroduce Captain America, reintroduce any of the other ones so much. But the only ones I haven't seen the Incredible Hulk movie, but the character, like, the actor is different.
Yeah, I didn't really feel the need, like, I didn't need to watch Hulk in order to get Hulk's character.
Yeah, and they already kind of reintroduced him since they changed actors again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. But I like this new one. This one is really, really
Yeah,
good.
he did a really good job, I agree. And actually, even though we have all these movies that were leading up to the Avengers, I didn't feel watching the Avengers that I was missing out when I was watching it. That, like, oh man, if only I had seen Iron Man, if only I had seen Thor, if only I had seen Captain America, you know, this would make this movie better. I didn't feel that. I felt that the movie was good, even without having seen those movies.
It's just they explain a few things. That's the only thing about the other movies. But I really enjoyed Avengers. It's just people like throw it off like, you know, it's not. I understand it's not as great as Batman. Just by, like, you know, it doesn't make you think. It's not like deep or trying to have like a really like trying to have like a story to, like, you know, a message to send. But this one is just, we want a comic book movie, and that's what it is. It just gives you a comic book movie. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I like movies that make you think. I like those kinds of movies, but that doesn't mean I want all the movies that I watch to be that way. And Avengers is the epitome of that. It is the best kind of movie of just plain fun. It is easily one of the most fun movies I've had at a movie theaters. It was great. It was awesome. Yeah, go watch it. What are you doing, you know, if you haven't watched it? Do it now. What's wrong with you? God. Okay, watch it after you're done listening to us.
Yeah. You know, I'm really happy about how successful it is, and I'm really happy about how big it is. It's still in theaters. And I actually want to watch it again. Because now, what's funny is now I love 2012 now, when people say, you know, when they're talking about movies, now they're just like, you know, if there's a bad movie, they're like, you know, just go watch Avengers again. That just makes me laugh all the time. And I'm happy that you managed to do that well. But one thing, people say that, one person pointed this out, and it's just, one thing is, they said, you know, it's not as good as these higher-ups, and I'm not sure, I don't remember I don't remember one, but one of them was like Dark Knight, which I understand, you know, Dark Knight is different.
Yeah.
But the other one was Spider-Man, and really, if you watch Spider-Man again, it's really not that good.
The first one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first one in a long time. I remember when it came out in theaters, like, I saw it something like 3 times, so I got kind of sick of it, and you know, didn't really want to watch it ever again. But I haven't seen it in a while now, so I may go back and check it out again. But like, why do you think it's not that good anymore? Like, do you think it hasn't aged well, or you just think that it's kind of overrated? Or
the writing isn't that perfect, but the good things I want to pull out real quick before I get yelled at is I love the actor of John Jameson. He is perfect, and I don't think that he's in The Amazing Spider-Man, which kind of depresses me. Because when I think of...
well, that movie's like made by a completely different studio. It's not even being directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah. But the thing I like about Sam Raimi is, like, you know, the movie's still really good. I love the action scenes. I love, like, you know, the first Spider-Man, what it did, which I don't think Amazing Spider-Man will ever do, is, like, Bonesaw. You know, Bonesaw had, like, its own special charm. And Bruce Campbell cameos, which was awesome.
Gotta love Bruce Campbell.
You know, it's just, I don't think The Amazing Spider-Man will do any of those at all. But, you know, I love those. But the problem I had with Spider-Man, which was, the writing wasn't really that great. Like, the conversations between other characters weren't really that great. Like, Nostalgia Critic pointed this out on his top 11 worst things about, like, stupid things about Spider-Man, and really, thinking about it, it was pretty bad. Like, one of the ones that I really did not like was when Aunt May talked about how Peter Parker first saw Mary Jane. Because she was like, all saying, yeah, when you very first see her, you ran back to me, and you said, Aunt May, is that an angel? And I'm like, ow!
that is bad.
The problem is I don't remember. Like, I remember, like, they say, like...
I didn't remember that either, but I think if I heard that now... Because I think I saw that movie when I was, like, in middle school or something. It was a long time ago.
What was funny was in Nostalgia Critic show that scene. I was like, you know, that scene reminds me of... And right afterwards, he played the Star Wars Episode 1. Are you an angel?
Ah, no! No! God, no!
It hurt. Like, oh, it's just... Oh, man. It's just... If you kind of watch it again, some parts it gets kind of cheesy. And this is me, but I don't like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah. Because it's just... He doesn't really have that Spider-Man style. Because the thing about Spider-Man, he's kind of... You know, kind of like a jokey, young... You know, always ready for something and always quirky. But the thing is, Tobey Maguire is very, very low monotone. Just he has that blank stare and he slowly talks. It's just, I don't know. I just don't really like the actor, but I don't like him as Spider-Man. Like, I think he's just kind of miscast. Like,
I don't know. I liked him personally. I liked him as Spider-Man. I'm actually really worried about the new Spider-Man because I was watching the trailer because at least Tobey Maguire, like, he still had, like, Spider-Man's sense of humor. Like, he would still, like, tell jokes and stuff. And be kind of, like, sarcastic. And I'm only going by the trailers, obviously. But in the new Spider-Man movie, this guy who's playing Peter Parker, where's the jokes? It seems like the whole movie is just, like, serious, action. And that's fine. But I want jokes, too, because that's part of who Spider-Man is.
One of the newer trailers, and people have been pointing this one out because it's actually pretty funny, was you see him, like, messing with a car thief. He's like, you know, and he talks to him, he goes, you know, if you're gonna, like, you shouldn't dress up as a car thief if you're gonna steal something. And then what happened was he pulls out a knife, and then he, like, goes on his knees like, oh no, you know my weakness, it's small knives.
Yeah, I did see that. And that is playing into the Spider-Man character, and I admit that, but I mean, that's the only thing we've seen. And it is hard to judge based on just trailers, honestly, it is. But I am still a little worried because a huge part of Spider-Man is the cheesy jokes. And I don't want to see that go away, because then it won't feel like Spider-Man anymore. If it's all serious all the time, then we get Spider-Man 3, which was crap.
Well, things I like, well, I didn't like the first Spider-Man movie, but the writing does improve in Spider-Man 2, and I actually like Spider-Man 2 much better than Spider-Man 1.
I think Spider-Man 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
Easily the best one.
And the thing I like about Spider-Man is, first off, I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays Green Goblin is amazing.
Yeah, that actor.
A little over the top, but amazing. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octavius, I thought he was really, really good. Which is kind of funny because he's usually this minor actor or the guy who always dies in all the other movies. Like his first movie was Indiana Jones. He was the guy with Indiana Jones in the very beginning who betrays him, which is funny. And then later on, like, I remember he appeared in what was it called? Species.
I've never seen that.
I'm not sure if this is the right one, but Species, about this alien who gave us a gift, and they tested with a human sample, then they made a half alien, half human, but it has to breed, so it has to go off. And what was funny was Alfred Molina was in it, but in the end of that movie, she ends up mating with him, which is just weird because he's not the best looking guy, but whatever. And he ended up dying. But in this one, like, he did a really good performance, and I really, really liked him in Spider-Man 2. And Spider-Man 3, I like the guy who played Sandman. I like John Jameson. I like the special effect of Sandman. That's all I liked about Spider-Man 3.
I agree. I think the special effects of Sandman were pretty cool. I thought this the special effects for Venom, not Venom himself, which but the special effects for the Venom parasite, I forget what it's called, the symbiote. There we go. And I thought whenever Spider-Man was in the black suit, I thought that was kind of cool. That was pretty cool. But there was just there were so many things that were wrong in that.
It was just disappointing for me because it was Friday, the day Spider-Man 3 first came out in theaters. We got our tickets early and we were just waiting in that giant line.
I mean, I don't think Spider-Man 3 was as bad as some people made it out to be. Like, some people were like, this movie's one of the worst movies ever, or something like that. And it's not that bad. But it's got problems. Come on, Sam Raimi. You're better than this. You know how to make a better movie than this. Come on, man.
This is the problem about the movie, and what I hear was, Sam Raimi wanted Sandman, but then people were complaining that they wanted Venom, so they had to put it in there, and they had to continue with Green Goblin, so they actually had all three of these problems, all three of these things that just kind of shoved in there.
Yeah, I can see why that would create an issue, because it's too discombobulated. Anyways, starting to near an hour. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Alright.
Okay, so this was the pilot episode of Shin and Bos. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, whenever we have the time, we'll try and do more and see if we can create more of a structure. This was kind of like the pilot episode, so we were just messing around. Hopefully, it can be better next time. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
See ya.